All right, we are live. Phoenix Suns training camp 2024. And if you don't know already, you guys, in my personal opinion, the 2024 NBA season is officially here. We just had Media Day yesterday, which I was live at. I will talk about that more later on. It was an incredible experience if you want my quick thoughts on it. And we are live to talk about Suns training camp. I have to give a quick little disclaimer, like I like to do at a lot of the start of these shows. Um, One, I'm just getting over being sick a little bit, but two, I've been up really early, or I was up earlier this morning. I was on a couple of planes. I got home early from my trip, so I'm pretty much running on fumes here. But I was like, you know what? It's the start of the NBA season. You know, the Suns are in training camp. The NBA players are in training camp. So in a way, I'm in training camp because I'm starting to warm up with these videos and these live shows. And I know actions speak louder than words, you guys, but I'm going to do my best to try to double my content, to do more live shows, more YouTube shorts, more videos. And that's saying a lot because I already upload a lot. But again, I'm going to do my best as long as I can mentally and physically do it. So that's a quick little disclaimer. But before we get started, big shout out to David here with the sun emoji. Appreciate you being here. Slayer's icon says, "What's good, Geek? How was Media Day? Hope you had fun, my guy." Yes, I will definitely talk about Media Day later. Incredible experience. Also, it might be out tomorrow or at least later this week, but I'm going to have like a separate little vlog. And then what I want to do is upload the clips from Media Day that I did film. I'll talk about that later. But there's going to be a lot of content from Media Day, and I cannot wait to show you guys. So, also, Ivan is here. Hello, Sons Geek from Chile. I appreciate you being here. Lufa is here. Yes, sir. What's good? And I appreciate you. Suns Fever 83 says, looking and sounding good. I appreciate that. You guys already know if this good mic is not turned on, please let me know. I would appreciate it. All right. Disclaimers are out of the way. Let's talk Phoenix Suns training camp. Like I said, you guys, in my personal opinion, the NBA season starts today because you know it does for the players. They had training camp today. And this is going to be a little bit, like I said, kind of all over the place in terms of how this show is going to be ran today. We're just going to be listening to some quotes. Going to kind of give you guys my takeaway from Suns training camp. We're going to be reacting to some things. Whether you're, I mean, for a lot of you who are, you know, regular viewers of this show, you know, you guys know how it is. We just like to react to things and give our thoughts and react to clips and all that. So we're going to do that soon. I'm going to already put on my headphones just in case because we're going to react to a few clips and all that. But I want to start here. We're going to listen in to Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer and really just his, you know, first impressions of Suns training camp. And also, like Damion Lee told us yesterday on Media Day, by the way, a little bit later, I want to talk about Damion Lee and his Media Day press conference. It was incredible, but we'll talk about that later. So here is Phoenix Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer giving his thoughts on Suns training camp day one and the update on Damion Lee. And I want to give a big shout out to everybody that, you know, I'm getting these clips and pictures from. Dwayne Rankin from the Arizona Republic and Gerald Bourguet from PHNX. By the way, I met both of them at Media Day. They are both awesome people. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive into this, you guys. Here is Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer. I'm going to put on my headphones and fix my camera. Sorry, guys. You already know the drill. One-man show here. Let's do this camera. That camera just looks better, right? Here we go. Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer on day one of training camp. Hopefully you guys can hear this. And here we go.
Compete and the competitive spirit. I think the guys were in a good place. There's also a lot of new stuff being thrown at them, so you're learning, and you know, sometimes that can slow you down a little bit. But overall, I think the guys were great in picking up things and then applying it. Coaches were great. So good energy in the building.
The other thing I know Damion was looking forward to today as far as getting out there. What was he able to do? Was he able to go full, or did he have to back off a little bit?
No, Damion, was full participant. I think we were keeping an eye on him, and if needed, prepared to kind of pull him and just monitor his progress. But unless I missed it, he was a full go and made it through everything.
Okay. Talk about trying to instill some things. What were some of the things you guys were able to accomplish on that front?
Yeah, I think today trying to establish some of our defensive principles, establish a defensive identity, establish how important being great defensively is. So, we've had a great month of September with open gym that, understandably is mostly probably offense and just hooping and playing. And, today was a lot more of a defensive emphasis and putting in, our basic, whether it's our shell defense and pick and roll defense, transition defense, things like that.
We were talking to Grayson yesterday, who, actively recruited Tyus to come here and kind of take his spot in the starting lineup. It's a rare thing. What does that say about Grayson, and how do you see him kind of assimilating in that six-man role?
Yeah, Grayson's character and, he's all about the right things. Feel fortunate to, kind of reunite with him and pull him into the recruiting of Tyus. And like you said, at the end of the day, it's probably to bring somebody in to take his spot in the starting lineup. But I think all Grayson cares about is winning. I think he loves being around great people, and Tyus is certainly great people. So, Grayson on the court is amazing. Off the court, he's amazing. We're lucky to have him.
Okay. A couple things. First off, there's a lot to take away from just that 2-minute clip right there, which is why I love training camp and why I love doing these videos, because we can react to stuff like that. But I want to kind of get to something that I think Mike Budenholzer said about right here, if I remember correctly. Let's just listen one more time.
Good energy in the building.
The other thing I know Damion.
I think that was it, actually. Yeah, let's go back. I'm sorry, guys.
Overall, I think the guys were great in picking up things and then applying it. Coaches were great. So good energy in the building.
Yeah, so he said good energy in the building. The guys were picking up things. The guys looked good. That's one of the key takeaways that I want to hear from Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer on the first day of training camp. And real quick, you guys, I was kind of taking some notes, prepping for this live show. Now, some of this does go back to Media Day. You're probably going to hear me reference Media Day a lot, at least in the next few weeks, maybe throughout the season as well. These are just some random notes and takeaways before we kind of dive into our next clip and everything. Real quick, something that James Jones, our general manager, said on Media Day, speaking of head coach Mike Budenholzer, quote, "Bud has been really energizing for this group. We want to shoot more threes. We want the ball to pop and move." And then I don't have the exact quote here, but Suns CEO Josh Bartelstein pretty much said the same thing. He pretty much echoed what James Jones said. And then I want to quote, well, I guess it's really a tweet from Dwayne Rankin here from the Arizona Republic. But day one of Phoenix Suns training camp recap at the team's practice facility. And these are just Dwayne Rankin's takeaways. He was obviously there post-training camp when they let the media in. Number one, defense. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Competitive. Damion Lee, as Mike Budenholzer just talked about, was a full participant. And then he said language, which is that whole Ryan Dunn thing going along. We'll react to that later, where he said there was a lot of FUs and stuff like that, which I love. And then Mike Budenholzer talked about it, you guys. He said that a lot of the guys were in the gym in September, doing, open runs, open gym practice and everything. And the main focus was offense. And that makes a lot of sense. I think he talked about that, how that's kind of normal and everything. But the message today was defense. The Suns were focusing on defense. And, the high energy and the communication of this team. I think Tyus Jones talked about that. We're going to hear from Tyus Jones here in a little bit. But the high energy, communication, and defense, that is what I love to hear. And I know we were a pretty good defensive team last season, even though it didn't really seem like it. But if this is how we're going to be all season long, on defense. It's going to be awesome. I can't actually wait till we can see the product on the court and see what this kind of defense looks like. I can't wait. Big shout out to my guy, John, from the Suns Jam Session podcast. He says, hey, this guy, appreciate you, man. And by the way, I appreciate your tweet yesterday, tweeting out the picture that we took. That means a lot to me, man. And thank you so much for being there with me on Media Day. I can't wait to upload that vlog and all that footage that we recorded, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a little bit of a different footage. John knows what I'm talking about. But I can't wait to upload the vlog and more stuff from Suns Media Day. And also go check out brightsideofthesun.com and check out the Suns Jam Session podcast. I always say this, you guys, if you're supporting them, you're supporting me. And I mean that. So big shout out to my guy, John. Okay. Moving on, you guys. Like I said, this show's all over the place. We're going to kind of just be reacting to certain clips and quotes and key takeaways. And then later in the show, I kind of just want to just talk about some random stuff that I've been seeing. Some of it's funny. Some of it's NBA related. It's going to be a fun show. So also, let me know what you guys are drinking. I got a little bit of water here. Like I said, I've kind of just been running on fumes since I got home, so I got a little bit of caffeine with some Pepsi here, but let me know what you're drinking in the chat. Okay. Let's hear from somebody who I put in the thumbnail earlier, from the Suns' newest starting point guard. You heard that right. The Suns actually have a point guard, and he will be starting. I'm sorry, you guys, but he is. For the people that didn't think he was going to be, he is starting. I mean, right when we signed him, I knew he was going to be starting. But here is Phoenix Suns point guard, Tyus Jones. Why did my camera change? I didn't want it to do that. Okay, let's try this. There we go. All right, Phoenix Suns starting point guard, Tyus Jones.
The only other thing I had was on the defensive end on the 3-guard lineup. I'm curious how that looks. Is you guys are going to have some teams you probably match up with size-wise, and some of them are probably going to be bigger. So how do you feel like the 3-guard looks on the defensive end?
We're gonna have to compete. It starts with one-on-one defense, but then it's also team defense. You gotta have each other's back, communicate, play hard, and fun.
What were some of the points of emphasis today for you?
Communicate, pace, keeping our tempo up, and it's day one, so it's a lot of install, setting. Kind of setting the table for our philosophies, terminology, stuff like that, but also making sure we're playing fast. So it was a lot this first practice, but it was good.
Yeah, so I loved a lot of what Tyus Jones said right there, and I think I forgot what the actual question was on Media Day, and I'm kind of paraphrasing here. But I don't know if it was Monte Morris. Yeah, it was Monte Morris, I think, who was talking about it, who was pretty much saying, there's no competition with Tyus Jones. They're working together. They're shooting around together. They're practicing together. I love that. And the fact that Tyus Jones in that, 25-second clip or whatever it was continuing talking about what we've been talking about for the last 15 minutes. Communication, high energy, preaching defense, and just everything is a competition. That is how, sorry, my phone just went off. That is how the Phoenix Suns should be this season. And I love hearing that, especially from one of the newer guys, even though he's our starting point guard, Tyus Jones. That's what I love. Tyus Jones has to be one of these leaders. He has to be what I like to say a lot. You've heard me say it on this channel. He has to be our quarterback out there. And that's what I want to hear from our starting quarterback. I feel like I'm running an NFL channel now. Okay. Let's move on here. Somebody who not that rookies talking on training camp on day one is new, but I was kind of surprised to see Ryan Dunn talk to the media on day one. I hope tomorrow, or at least on the third day, we get Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, hear what they have to say. But yeah, let's hear from Phoenix Suns rookie Ryan Dunn, and I just want to make sure the screen looks good too before we pull this up. Okay, we're looking good. Let me just do that. Sorry, guys. One-man show here. Take a shot for every time I've said that. Okay. Phoenix Suns rookie Ryan Dunn. I don't believe this is the FU clip. Maybe we'll react to that later, but let's listen to what Ryan Dunn had to say.
Go
it's going well. Just keep getting confidence, like I said Monday. Just keep working at it, chipping away. And it's just a growing battle for myself. Just getting the rest as much as I can. So I'm not looking for anything changed overnight. Just continue to grow and just continue to be confident.
Is it simply reps, or is it more for you to really get that jump shot the way you want it?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's mostly just reps because I know if you don't got that mindset that you can shoot it. So, and with this team, they want to get it up. So it's just just forgetting about all the mechanics and stuff like that and just letting it go.
Okay.
It's the first day of training camp.
It's fun. It's fun. Really got after it. I saw a lot of the vet guys really going at each other and going at us. So it was cool to see that, and now you're gonna think of it. So continue going now.
We talked to Josh Okogie yesterday. He was talking about your defensive instincts and the way you can make plays on the ball. J.O.'s obviously a guy that can do that as well. What's it like kind of maybe being able to pick his brain? And
that's someone I'm going to look up to a lot this year. His mindset last year was defensively, and, I saw a lot pushing him last year. So I talked to him earlier, even during pickup, like how do you, different tips and tricks in the league and how to get to defenders and offensive players and stuff like that. So he's going to be a guy I can ask questions to at a time. So I'm glad I have him with me.
Okay, real quick. Can we re-listen to something Ryan Dunn said? I don't know why. I kind of like what he said here. I think he was talking about his three-point shooting, but let's just kind of listen to this again. I want to make sure I heard this right.
And it's just a growing battle for myself, just getting the best as much as I can. So I'm not looking for anything changed overnight. Just continue to grow and just continue to
So listen to the three-point
Is it
shooting
simply
here.
reps, or is it more for you to really get that jump shot the way you want it?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's mostly just reps because I know if you don't got that mindset that you can shoot it. So, and with this team, they want to get it up. So it's just just forgetting about all the mechanics and stuff like that and just letting it go.
Okay. I kind of like what he said there. First off, he hinted, and it's not really like a spoiler at this point because we know this team's going to be launching threes, but he pretty much hinted saying this team's going to be getting them up, and he said, quit focusing on the mechanics and just let them go. Now, if you played basketball, you know that there's a lot of mechanics in basketball. It's just how it is, or in really all sports. But you get my point. There's mechanics in basketball, but I kind of get what he's saying. Just let the ball fly, shoot the threes. And maybe later we'll even react to a clip of Ryan Dunn shooting some threes, I believe in practice or somebody guarding him. But it does seem like he's been working. There was that clip, I believe, that came out in September of him working out with Kevin Durant. And by the way, he did talk about that. I believe he was either at media day or is at training camp today. It's all kind of getting jumbled already. But he said he learned a lot. And I actually have a quote, by the way, from Kevin Durant. I want to read to you guys later that he said on media day that was directed towards Ryan Dunn, but I kind of feel like it's inspiring and I want to read it to you guys later, but we'll talk about that later. But Ryan Dunn, the rookie, seemed like he learned a lot from day one. And maybe later we'll react to that little, there's a lot of FUs and all that. That's just, NBA, basketball, that's sports, that's how it is. Probably a lot worse in football and in hockey and stuff. But it seems like head coach Mike Budenholzer is really excited. It seemed like a lot of good things happened today because he seemed impressed with what he saw. Tyus Jones was saying a lot of good things, and the rookie Ryan Dunn seems like he's learning a lot. And I just love what I'm hearing so far. So let me just go over some quick notes here. Let me see. I don't know if we played it earlier in the clip, but I want to read a quote that I read on the Arizona Republic, and I probably should have screenshotted this. My apologies for that, but this is Suns head coach Mike Budenholzer and how the defense was, quote, established. Here's Mike Budenholzer, quote, sometimes that can slow you down a bit, but overall, the guys were great in picking up things and then applying it. Budenholzer said the team, quote, established its defensive principles in Monday's practice. Quote, establish a defensive identity. Establish how important being great defensively is. We've had a great month of September, and that's where he went on talking about how, it was the open gym, the players were practicing, yada, yada, yada. But then he said, pick and roll defense, transition defense, whether it's being a shell of our defense, And I just think the message today was preaching defense. And I kind of wait, like, there is one clip I want to react to that the Suns uploaded. I think it's mostly like offensive clips, but I kind of wish we can see some of the defensive clips that they keep talking about, like the defensive moments and all that. But again, we're going to be seeing that soon because, spoiler alert, there is T-minus 5 days left until the Suns' first preseason game. It's crazy. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for the actual season to start, which really isn't that far away. I believe the Suns' first, when's our first game? Like the 23rd or something like that? 24th, 25th? I don't know. You get my point, though. NBA season is right here. If you're a sicko like me, the season began today, and preseason starts on the 6th. So it's almost here. We'll actually get to see some of this defense in action. So moving on here, you guys. Again, big shout out to Dwayne Rankin from the Arizona Republic for all of those clips. And actually, before we move on, Dwayne Rankin uploaded sort of like a recap video. And I kind of like how he did this. It's just like random quotes and clips. And it's about 1 minute and 30 long. Now, some of this stuff we probably heard earlier, but this is just a different version of it. I just want to play it for you guys. I thought it was cool. But before we do that, like Andy says, like the stream. Hulk smash that like button, you guys. Please subscribe. I have a few other comments and stuff in the chat that I want to get to. But let's just kind of watch this clip again, because I like the way this clip turned out. Then we got a couple other things to react to. And then, yeah, we'll kind of move on with our show. Also, you already know the drill, you guys. If you got comments, questions, concerns, let me know. Put it in the comments. And let's watch this little edited clip from Dwayne Rankin of the Arizona Republic on Suns training camp day 1.
Jesus Christ.
You tell us when you're ready.
I'm all good.
And then practice.
It was great. Great first day. A lot of energy in the building. Guys locked in, focused.
Today, the guys were great. I think, you keep hearing about compete and the competitive spirit. I think the guys were in a good place. There's also a lot of new stuff being thrown at them. So you're learning and, sometimes that can slow you down a little bit. But overall, I think the guys were great in picking up things and then applying it. Coaches were great. So good energy in the building.
So it's a lot of install, setting the table for our philosophies, terminology, stuff like that. But also making sure we're playing fast. So it was a lot this first practice, but it was good for us.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt real quick. Did you hear what Tyus Jones said? I think it's like right here.
Fast.
There it is. Right here.
But also making sure we're playing fast.
But also make sure we're playing fast. And Ryan Dunn and Mike Budenholzer and a lot of people have recently been saying playing fast, playing with pace, launching up those threes. More about the three-pointers in a minute, by the way. But let's keep listening to this clip.
So it was a lot this first practice, but it was good for us.
Yeah, I think, today trying to establish some of our defensive principles, establish a defensive identity, establish how important being great defensively is. So, we've had a great month of September with Open Gym that, understandably is mostly probably offense and just hooping and playing. And, today was a lot more of a defensive emphasis and putting in, our basic, whether it's our shell defense, some pick and roll defense, transition defense, things like that.
It was cool. Like you said, it was first one today, just a regular kind of just Tuesday for me. But, just kind of think of it just going to regular practice now and just, being with these guys and know you belong. So that's my mindset going into the day. Jesus.
So that was a Ryan Dunn clip that we hadn't seen. And I kind of like the maturity there. How he's like, oh, it's just another Tuesday. It felt like a first day. It felt like a normal practice, proving that I belong, proving that I'm here. That's awesome. Shout out to Ryan Dunn and his maturity there. Okay. So like I mentioned, there's been a little bit of talk about the threes today. And this is where we're going to kind of, it's more of like it's a video, but I'm going to pause it. And I want to just show you guys the tweet first, and then we'll kind of watch the video. It's just a quick little video. Shout out to Gerald Bourget from PHNX. They do great work over there. I've been on their show once before. I met Gerald at Media Day. It was awesome. But he put out this tweet right here. And hopefully you guys can see this too. Let me just see. I can zoom in a little bit if you guys need to. But he says, first day of Suns training camp. Oh, let me fix this. I'm sorry, you guys. He says, first day of Suns training camp. You can see boxes at the 5 spot on the floor, presumably just like the ones Mike Budenholzer used in Milwaukee to denote where guys should space the court. And if you can't see what I'm talking about, there's the full screen. I'll even remove myself here so you guys can just see it. I'll remove my little banner too. There's one box there. And then if you let the clip play, there's, oh, wait, what's going on here? There's one box there. There's players shooting around. And then look, there's another box right there. Can you guys see it on my screen? I don't know if you guys can see that. I think I'm hovering over it right now. There's another box there. And then if you look, hopefully my mouse is showing here, but there's a box right in the middle, right by the Suns logo. And I'm assuming there's probably more boxes. Yeah, I think if you look really, really closely, there's more boxes there. So is that where Mike Budenholzer wants the guys shooting? And I kind of thought of this because obviously a lot of this live show has been talking about Suns defense. Is that maybe when they were doing defensive drills, maybe he wanted players closing out on defense, closing out on the 3-point shot, maybe? I don't know. Maybe it was a mixture of both. But, and first off, I want to pause it right here. Look how far away that distance is from the 3-point line. If that's where the Suns are going to be shooting threes, man, and if we're playing with pace and speed and playing fast, holy cow, dude. I cannot wait to see this team, man. I just thought that was cool. That was a good, shout out to Gerald Bourguet for recognizing that and seeing that. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, guys, let me see. We already talked on Damion Lee, who was a full participant in I'm losing my train of thought here. In Suns training camp. Damion Lee was a full participant and everything. Sounded like it was a productive, practice for Damion Lee. But I was at Media Day yesterday, and Damion Lee was up. And I have a few clips that I will eventually upload. And it's on YouTube right now. It's on the Suns YouTube page. You can go watch it. But if you're feeling kind of like down in your life, or if you're going through a storm, I mean, let's be real. We're human beings. We all go through them. And if you don't go through them, you're either really arrogant or you're just blind. But you get my point. We all go through storms. We all deal with things in our life. It happens. And I guess what I'm saying here is Damion Lee's little press conference interview, he went off on a tangent, but in a good way. And for me personally, it was super inspiring. And he just unleashed to the media, talking about his recovery, his injury, his rehab, his journey. I think he's going to have like a documentary series coming out about like the rehab and the journey process of that and how much it affected him. And I know this sounds crazy. Maybe we'll talk about it in tomorrow's live show, recapping day 2 of Suns Media Day. But he kind of called out fans, not just Suns fans, but he kind of called out sports fans in general. One thing, and I'm slightly paraphrasing this, but he pretty much said, if you shoot 2 for 10, you suck and you should get traded. He pretty much said that. You can go listen to it right now. And he said that that's how fans view players. And he pretty much was saying, hey, we're human too. We deal with things. We get injured. Life happens, et cetera, et cetera. And in a weird way, it's a really positive, media day interview. Just take the time and please go listen to it. I think you'll appreciate Damion Lee a little more. And that's coming from somebody who already appreciated him. You guys have heard me say it before. I'm not saying we would have won the NBA championship. I'm not even saying we would have beaten the Timberwolves last season. But if we had Damion Lee, I think we would have won a few more games. That's all I'm saying. And I'm glad he's back. And I can't wait to see Damion Lee in a Mike Budenholzer offense. I cannot wait to see Damion Lee with this team with 2 true point guards and the Suns' big 3. And we just got done watching the clip of where we assume the Suns were launching threes and spacing the floor at. And you have a really good 3-point shooter in Damion Lee returning, who, as Mike Budenholzer put it, was a full participant in practice. It's going to be launching those things. I cannot wait. Go listen to that interview. And tomorrow I will upload what clips I have of that. But seriously, go listen to it right now. Actually, don't listen to it right now. Go listen to it after this live show. So what we're going to do now, you guys, is kind of just react to some random things. This is where I'm going to get to some comments in the chat. I'm going to react to some stuff that I saw trending. And if you guys got any questions, comments, get them in right now. And we will continue with the show. Real quick, though, speaking of comments, and this is something we can talk about. Lufa says, I could see Bull starting a few games this year for KD, rest games. Bud said he loved the Bull/Nurkic minutes. Lufa, I can tell you paid attention to Media Day because I heard that too. And, or it might have been Media Day, or it might have been that interview that I think took place like a couple days before Media Day. But let's be real, it was like Media Day, right? I agree. And I agree with Mike Budenholzer. And I could see that as well. It would not surprise me if Bull starts a few games. In fact, I would welcome it. If I was Mike Budenholzer, I would definitely start him a few games. Whether KD's resting, God forbid there's any injuries. But you get the point. Bull could start. I can't wait to see it. I just can't wait to see Bull at this point. A new Bull, you know, a new system. You know, he said at Media Day yesterday that, one, he had a really good summer, even though he didn't play with South Sudan. But he said he had a really good summer. And one key takeaway that I took from Bull was he said most of his summer he was in Phoenix. He stayed in Phoenix and was just in the gym. I love when players say that. I don't care if you're a rookie. I don't care if you're Kevin Durant. I don't care if you're Bull. When players say they stayed in Phoenix and were just practicing, that is awesome. So shout out to Bull. I hope he starts a few games this year. I can't wait to see him. And as I, before I talked about the Bull thing, Lufa says, people forget how much of a sniper D. Lee was. Exactly. We would have won a couple more games with D. Lee on the team last year. Slayer's Icon says, for real, he was amazing in a short time with the Suns. Not going to lie, Bud gives this team a new vibe that just brings the Suns up. I feel something different this year. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that yesterday post-Media Day. I was getting feedback from people. I'm like, what do you think the vibe has been like? And everybody was like, the vibe's great. The players look good. They're sounding good. The vibe is up. John says, love you, Geek. Truly was fun spending Media Day with you. Well, I appreciate you, man. You were a big help with Media Day yesterday. I couldn't have done it without you, man. And I appreciate you, man, for real. Shout out to Sir Hamo from the Suns Planet podcast. Go check them out. T.O. says, Suns Geek is greater than pumpkin spice lattes. Oh, boy, that's great. Oh, yeah, by the way, speaking of pumpkin spice lattes, happy October, everybody. I'm going to change my Deadpool and Wolverine poster. Don't get me wrong. I love it. It's a great poster. But I'm going to change it to a Halloween kind of thing. It's spoiler alert. It's a Chucky poster. And I might put up some more like Halloween decorations here. But yeah, so happy Happy October to all you Halloween fans out there. Mug, I see your question. I will get to it. I promise. We will answer that in a little bit. But let's get to just some other random Suns and NBA related things. What is going on with my monitor here? I'm sorry, you guys. But like I said, you guys, get your questions, comments, concerns in. Feel free to ask me almost anything. Let's keep politics and all of that out. And then later I will talk about my media day experience. More on that later. I'm gonna have like vlogs coming out and everything, but I'll give you a quick little rundown. So let's talk about Grayson Allen and a funny tweet that I saw yesterday that I want to react to. Shout out to oops, I clicked the wrong button here. Sorry, guys. Shout out to Mike V. Hill from the Timeline podcast. They do great work. I hope to get them on my show one day. They're awesome, Mike and Sam. Funny tweet here from Mike, who says his neck grew 3 sizes. I thought this tweet was hilarious. I got to bring back my reacting to Suns Twitter videos because this would definitely make the cut. Spoiler alert, if you did not know, if you didn't hear, if you haven't been paying attention, Grayson Allen revealed that he is 30 pounds heavier than his listed weight. I think he said he's at like 230 or something. And let me tell you this, I was not sitting very far from the press conference table. And I even have photos and videos of it. I'll upload it. You guys will see it. Follow me on social media, by the way. In person, Grayson Allen is literally, he is physically bigger than he was last season. Those videos of him working out and bulking up, it is a real thing. He looked like a football player out there. Like, look at that one photo right there. And I also like the response comment. I don't know. Shout out to Suns Reality Check. No more 1940s Grayson Allen. I love that. That's great. But yeah, like just this one photo alone, it doesn't do it justice, but it kind of does. Like, he is huge. And I'm probably butchering this, but he says something about like setting more pick and rolls and everything. And just like, dude, I wouldn't want to be getting hit by a Grayson Allen screen and roll, especially if he's 35 pounds heavier. David says, Grayson Allen, smash that like button for real, man. But yeah, Grayson Allen's looking good, man. And he had one of like the more like fun, engaging media day stuff yesterday. So shout out to Grayson Allen. But again, Grayson Allen's another player that I am super excited about seeing on this team. And him coming off of the bench, excuse me, playing at a faster pace, launching threes, I cannot wait to see it. I need a sip of my water and we'll continue on. Delicious. Okay. Moving on here. Again, random stuff here. I should probably pull up the schedule for this next little drop. Let's see. Here's the schedule. Which one's better? Yeah, let's just do this one. I don't know why I don't already have this uploaded in here. My apologies, guys. I'm kind of doing something on the fly here. But I was reading a few different Suns articles. Why can't I pull that up? Okay, whatever. You know what? We're just going to do this. Excuse me. Okay, Suns schedule. Here we go. What is going on with my life? Here we go. Perfect. So yeah, I was reading a random article from the Arizona Republic earlier, and how do I say this? I think even me, and it's okay. Like if I forget this or if I overlook it, it's okay if we overlook it as a fan base. But I thought this was just worth talking about for at least a minute. The Arizona Republic wrote, The Suns' first preseason game is against the Lakers. 4 of Phoenix's first 5, 4 of the Suns' first 5 preseason games are in an 8-day span with 3 on the road. The Suns play October 8th against Detroit at Michigan State University, October 11th again versus the Pistons at Footprint Center, and October 13th at Denver. Now, the main takeaway of that is 4 out of the first 5 games are in an 8-day span. 3 of them are on the road. And I'm sharing the Suns schedule right now if you want to see it on the screen. But I like that because I think it might have been Mike Budenholzer yesterday at Media Day who pretty much said, like, I don't like, easing our team into the season. I'm kind of paraphrasing that, but that's pretty much what he said. That's how I look at it as a fan, if I was a coach, I would not want to ease my team into the season, even if it is just preseason. And I get it. Teams are going to bench their stars or they're not going to play them much, but you got to kind of go through the fire early. And I'm not saying this preseason schedule is tough. And again, it's preseason. Who cares, right? We could lose all of these games and it doesn't really matter. Although Suns Twitter would probably panic if we did. But we could lose all of our preseason games. Doesn't really matter. But start them off early. Get them in the gym. Play those back-to-backs. What is it? Play 5 games in 8 days or whatever. Do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about. I just thought I would kind of go on that rant. But for all of you who are like, we don't care, Suns Geek, get to the NBA season. I was correct. It's October 23rd. And then one day later, and these are back-to-back. Well, they're pretty much back-to-back road games. It's 2 road games in LA against the Clippers and Lakers to start the season. Then the next day it is a back-to-back, so we played the Mavericks. You get my point. It's a lot of games. It's a lot of back-to-backs. A lot of only one day off in betweens. You guys get my point, right? I don't know. I just thought I would go on that little tangent because that quote kind of stuck out to me, Okay, guys. I forgot to add this in with my Grayson Allen segment. I told you the show's all over the place. Whatever. So Suns Are Better actually quote tweeted me on Media Day. And first off, shout out to him because he's one of my favorite follows on Twitter. So I originally posted this tweet. That is one of my photos from Media Day, by the way. I said, Grayson Allen says he weighs around 230. I probably should have added pounds, but you get the point. There's a beautiful photo of Grayson Allen, by the way, smiling, looking happy. And Suns Are Better, again, one of my favorite follows on Twitter, quote tweeted me. I got to lower the banner so you guys can see this, with this hilarious graphic of Adam Silver saying, get ready to learn small forward, buddy. I love that so much. That is so good. And you know what? Maybe he's not wrong. Like, I could see it. Grayson Allen's got the strength now. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. I had to throw that in there with my Grayson Allen segment here. Like I said, you guys, we're going off some random stuff here. But I'm gonna get to a couple more questions. Let's go for like 15 more minutes, y'all. So get your questions in, get your comments in, get your concerns in. And I'll start with this question from Mug that I said I was going to answer. Sorry, my back is itching. Mug says, do you think Kaminsky will make the cut? I hope, because training camp's like, 4 or 5 days, I believe. I hope we get to hear from Frank Kaminsky, or maybe Mike Boot, or they at least ask about him. They ask Mike Budenholzer about Frank Kaminsky. And if you want kind of my full thoughts, I did go live before I traveled for Media Day. And I'm rooting for the guy is what I'm trying to say. I hope he makes the cut. I would not mind him as like our 3rd string kind of center, power forward, wherever you want to call him. I wouldn't mind him. And I know that might sound offensive to call him a 3rd stringer, but he was out of the league for a year. And the last 2 years he played in the NBA, he wasn't very good. And I know that's injury related, but I'm rooting for the guy. I hope so. And to my knowledge, there is like 18, 19 players, maybe even 20 that are on this training camp roster, and the Suns have to make the tough decisions, and they have to cut it down to either 15 or 14 to start the season, I believe. So I'm cheering for the guy, man. I appreciate the question, Mug. Okay. Mug also says, what's your number 2 team to watch this season? That's a great question. Mine is the Knicks. I want to see Mikal ball out this season. You know what? I'm going to kind of cop out your answer here and agree with you. It is the New York Knicks, who, if you have not been paying attention, they just made a huge trade, another huge trade, trading for Karl Anthony Towns. More on this later, by the way. I don't think that deal is actually finalized yet, because Bobby Marks of ESPN was tweeting out like some more trade details. And we'll go over that later. But my point being, I want to watch the Knicks just a lot. Even if they didn't trade for Karl Anthony Towns, I still would have tuned in to as many Knicks games as possible, because I think they had an A plus, maybe, or just an A off season. They had an incredible off season. I loved a lot of the moves they did before the Karl Anthony Towns trade. And I know a lot of people have a lot of mixed reactions to that deal, but I like it, I guess. It was just so like, it was like, you could argue the NBA season started when Karl Anthony Towns got traded. Like, that just set off like a boom, you know what I mean? And just, oh my God, like right before media day, right before training camp, Karl Anthony Towns gets traded to New York, of all places. And I don't know, but I don't know if that answers your question. Also, honorable mentions. There's a lot of teams I want to watch, like the Thunder, the Celtics. Who am I forgetting here? Just so many teams, y'all. Okay. Ivan says, my biggest concern is our size disadvantage. While it's possible to overcome taller opponents, the physical toll it can take can lead to injuries, especially on an older team, particularly during the comment continues on here, intensity of the playoffs. A player like Ryan Dunn could be a game changer. If not, do you think it is feasible to find a player with that size and skill on the market? Or size and skill set on the market. So, excuse me. If I'm kind of processing your comment and question here, and I do appreciate it, I think for me personally, I need to kind of wait and see if size is going to be our disadvantage. I will say this, and this might sound like a cop-out. You know, the Thunder were a very small team last year. Good example of that. Yusuf Nurkic had a career high 31 rebounds, I believe, against the Thunder, right? And guess what? They're one of the best teams in the league, and they won like 56 games, and they made it to the second round of the playoffs. I'm just saying, right now, October 1st, I am not too concerned with our size, but I could be eating my words in about a week or two from now after we see some preseason games. You know what I mean? But to not really answer your second question here, he says, you know, a player like Ryan Dunn could be a game changer. If not, do you think it's feasible to find a player with that size and skill set on the market? First off, I don't know who that player is going to be. And I think you're kind of referencing the buyout market. Let's just kind of wait till like December, January, February, till we kind of get to that. But Ryan Dunn could be a game changer. But I want to just wait. Like, the Suns are always going to be looking at players who can improve this team, but you got to kind of give it time too. I get your concern. I understand. I'm sure I'm going to see that a lot. Like Suns Geek, our biggest problem is our size, but I don't know. Let's give it time, y'all. Okay, let's see. It's in Palm Springs. Okay, I'm just reading some questions. Appreciate that, man. He says, Media Day Geek. That's got a ring to it, doesn't it? Okay. Well, while we're still waiting for comments and questions to go in, let's talk some other random NBA stuff, shall we? I thought this was hilarious, and we have to talk about it. And then I'll probably talk about my Media Day experience, if you will. So, if you don't know who Shaedon Sharpe is, Shaedon Sharpe, I believe, was the second pick in last year's draft. And, oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm running on fume. Not Shaedon Sharpe. Scoot Henderson. I'm sorry. Scoot Henderson. Not Shaedon Sharpe. What am I talking about? I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, I've been up since early this morning. I was on a plane not too long ago. It's been a long day. It was a great weekend. It was an incredibly blessed weekend, but I'm running on fumes here. I'm sorry. Not Shaedon Sharpe. Scoot Henderson had an all-time Media Day answer, and we're going to react to the clip. Now, the quality is not super great, so hopefully you can hear what he says. But, and look, I'm not like accusing him of anything. Maybe he's just a funny guy. Maybe he just was doing this to be funny. But this is from Mark. Well, we'll talk about the person that originally uploaded it. But Mark Jackson's burner tweeted this out saying, Scoot Henderson clearly showed up to Media Day out of his mind, with all due respect. First off, look at his face in this video. It's hilarious. And just listen to what he says. I hope you guys can hear this.
Now that you have a couple months of distance from it, kind of what do
You
you
guys
look
hear
back
that?
on about your rookie season, kind of what you learned from it?
I look back at the good food that I had. Yeah, a lot of food. And you know what I've learned from it. You know what I'm saying? Just all the.
That is one of the greatest Media Day answers that I have ever heard. Oh my goodness. Now, the guy or whoever it was that originally uploaded it just had the perfect caption. And I was like, I have to talk about this on the next live show. Uncle Rick City Remix just simply says, I love Media Day. And he let that Scoot Henderson clip play and it went viral. I believe that's where it came from, but I just thought that was hilarious. Had to talk about it. Now, before I butchered that whole segment, there was a Shaedon Sharpe thing I did want to talk about. First off, Shaedon Sharpe is one of my favorite young players in the league. I hope he has a bounce back season. Although he had a pretty good season last year, but I think he dealt with injuries. Just a quick quote from Sean Hyken. I can't read. I can't talk. You guys know that. Quote from Shaedon Sharpe. I grew up watching Devin Booker. Is something Shaedon Sharpe said today that made me feel very old. Shaedon Sharpe said, I grew up watching Devin Booker. That is awesome. But yeah, you guys, Devin Booker's been in the league 10 years now, you guys. Can you believe that? Devin Armani Booker has been in the league for 10 years. It's wild. You guys, I think that's pretty much it. Actually, you know what? I want to get to, and I hate to, you know what? No. I guess, how do I say this? You know what? I think this just sums it up perfectly. The times, they are changing. As many of you guys know, earlier, like in September, Woj decided to step down / retire from, ESPN covering the NBA. You guys know that it went viral, took the sport, took the NBA world really, and sort of the sports world by storm. And then not too long ago, ESPN laid off Zach Lowe. And whether you love or hate ESPN, trust me, I've been very critical of ESPN. Zach Lowe was one of the best ones they had. He actually knows basketball and does great stuff and great podcasts and all that stuff, And it's not just that. Like, we've had legends pass away, like recently the late great Al McCoy. Just yesterday, Dikembe Mutombo, one of the best defensive players of all time, passed away. But not just a great defensive player, a great human being, a great ambassador, to the league. And, James Earl Jones passed away, the voice of Darth Vader. And I've seen some other actors and famous people. It's like the times they are changing. There's a lot of change going on, you guys. And unfortunately, that's just part of life. And you're probably like, okay, Sons Geek, I don't want you preaching to me. Just where are you going with this? Well, there was a great tweet about Woj that I hope happens. And this is slightly Suns related because Bobby Marks tweeted out this photo. I'll pull this up here. You guys can see it. Bobby Marks tweeted out this photo. The night or morning Kevin Durant was traded. It's him and Woj on their phones. Looks like they're in the studio and everything. That's pretty cool. A little behind the scenes there. And Bill Reinhart, I hope I said that name right, had a great tweet that I hope we get to see. He said, one day, Woj needs to write a book detailing the craziest moments of his career, including insight to many of the deals that were closest to happening, but yet never did. So he pretty much said Woj needs to write a book talking about the craziest moments of his career and the deals that were close to happening, but never did. Could you imagine? You know how you like go into a bookstore and you're like, you see like New York's #1 seller or best seller of the week. That would be like the best seller for like a year. You know what I mean? That would be awesome. I would buy that book the day it comes out. I'm not even joking. And by the way, you guys, especially when the news, or excuse me, when the Woj news broke that he was retiring and stepping down, there were just I was retweeting everything. There was so much positive response from journalists, people on ESPN, et cetera, et cetera. The feedback for Woj was incredible. I even made a post because I met Woj at Summer League, And same thing with Zach Lowe. There's a few tweets I want to get to, but I kind of want to move on from this segment. But we'll just react to this tweet from Tommy Beer, who says, now again, apparently from what I read, the reason they let Zach Lowe go was, I believe, due to a pay thing. I think he made like 7 figures, and I don't know if ESPN wanted to pay that or something. I don't know. That's what I think I read. But Tommy Beer says, NBA Twitter never, ever universally agrees on anything. Yet everyone on NBA Twitter agrees that Zach Lowe is the best in the business. Tells you everything you need to know. Now, obviously, there's going to be the trolls and like the 12-year-olds that are like, Zach Lowe sucks. But like, let's be real. Just like with Woj, the response to Zach Lowe being let go from ESPN there was just so much praise in a good way for Zach Lowe, saying like, this is ridiculous. Why did ESPN do that? Zach Lowe's the best. I hope I don't hope. I know Zach Lowe's going to land on his feet and do bigger and better things. So the point of that segment is the times they are changing in the NBA and sports world, especially in the NBA world. I know I said I was only gonna go, 15 more minutes, but I guess I'll move on and talk about my son's media day experience. Now, I'm not going to do my whole son's media day experience in this one live show because I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be uploading a vlog, more pictures. Follow me on social media, guys. I already posted pictures on my Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. But my experience was incredible. Now, I don't regret anything because I was honored and blessed to be there. Why do I still have my headphones on? What am I doing with my life? So, like I said, I was honored and blessed to be there, right? And first off, if anybody from the Suns is watching, I hope I can come back next year. I'm praying about it. Fingers crossed. I was honored just to even be in the building, right? And again, I don't regret anything. I don't, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I kind of wish I would have slowed down time and recorded just a few more videos because it was my first media day. I wanted to make a good impression. I wanted to be professional, but I kind of forgot that it is media day and I should have recorded more. You know what I mean? But hey, you live, you learn, right? And hopefully I'll get invited back next year and I can triple my video content from media day next year, right? But again, if that's the worst thing that happened at media day, and that's not even a bad thing, it was an incredible media day. Again, shout out to John and Matt and Brandon from, you guys might know him from AZ Sports Zone. Great Twitter follow. He's also been on the Locked On Suns podcast with Brandon Clean a lot. He does great work. I met Kevin Hicks and so many other people. If I forgot to mention you, I apologize. I met a lot of great people and shook a lot of hands. And no joke, you guys, John can even back this up. I was literally sitting the row behind Josh Bartelstein and Suns general manager James Jones. It was an incredible experience. And without being long-winded, even though I didn't get as much content as I probably should have, I was mainly there for the experience and for the opportunity. And again, I just hope I can come back next year and give you guys even more better content. And starting tomorrow, I will upload, like I said, the clips that I do have. So you guys are going to see me upload a lot. And then, like I said, hopefully tomorrow, maybe Thursday or Friday, I'll get you the actual vlog from my Phoenix trip. Speaking of that too, I'm going to mention this in the vlog, but I didn't film as much as I wanted in the vlog because, to be honest, media day was my main priority for being there. But a lot of the friends that I was with, these are my boys, my lifelong friends. They're not always down to be on camera, and I respect that. I'm not going to shove a camera in their face, So, but either way, you guys, I'm nitpicking at what was an awesome opportunity, and I'm nitpicking at what was one of the best weekends of my life. You know what I mean? I'm just being real with you guys. I'm just being honest with you guys. That's what you're going to get here on Suns Geek all the time. 110% honesty and realism. So I think that's pretty much it. One last thing though, on the times they are changing. I'm very biased about this and I really believe it. Obviously Woj has retired. He's the GM at his alma mater college. I just butchered that word. Zach Lowe, got let go. And if you haven't been paying attention, NBA and sports podcasts are taking over and content creation is taking over. So my point being is, yeah, I know ESPN and Sports Center, they're the worldwide leader in sports, right? Well, guess what? NBA podcasts, NBA content creators are taking over, and I will always believe that. I'm not saying I'm taking over, but we are taking over. And you guys know me, I'm not a huge football fan, but I follow a lot of football content creators. They do great work. If I was a bigger football fan, I'm sure I would love the shows and stuff they do. But I'm just saying, us content creators are taking over. So that is it, you guys. Suns training camp day 1 is in the books. And I cannot wait to hopefully go live tomorrow or get you guys some kind of a video recapping day 2. I'll see how I feel because, again, I'm jet lagged. I'm running on fumes. We'll see. But either way, I'm going to get some kind of content out for you guys tomorrow. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for letting me ramble and rant, and just thank you for allowing me to be here, because I mean this from the bottom of my heart, you guys. If it was not for you, I don't think I would have been at Media Day. Plain and simple. Follow me on social media, you guys. I'm going to be uploading some pictures, to my story and to my posts and all that. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Heck, even follow me on Facebook. Why not? And you guys are incredible. I love you all. God bless you guys. I am extremely blessed to be sitting in front of this camera talking about the Suns with you guys and for you guys. And I appreciate you all. Also, again, before we get out of here for real, just a big shout out to my friend Carlos, DJ Ocho, who's been on this channel. Shout out to John, Shelly, Tim, Nick, and just everybody that I got a chance to see in Phoenix, everybody that I met at Media Day, John, Matt, just everybody who I was with in Phoenix. You guys made the weekend even more special. So go home, you guys. Take care of your family. Love your family, as Matthew says a lot. Be kind to people. Spread positivity in this world. Love people. And, obviously there's a lot of terrible things going on in the world right now. I know we had a presidential debate tonight, but just take care of each other, you guys. I love you guys. Peace out. God bless. Win or lose, Phoenix Suns for life. And I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Stay tuned. More videos are on the way. Love you guys. And peace.